Programming on WCS-TV Channel 180 is made possible in part through donations from your McMinnville State Farm agents Lee Holland, Norm Barnes, Neil Helton, and Bill Zeckman.
If you have cell phones, folks, please turn them off or put them on vibrate. Please remain standing for our word of prayer and our pledge to the flag.
Tonight we have with us Brother Wayne Cantrell. He's the minister at Highway 56 Church of Christ. So Wayne, go ahead.
Shall we pray? Our dear Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for this gorgeous day and for life, for allowing us to live this day. We thank you for this governing body and for our county. We pray as they make decisions for this county that your wisdom will guide them, and pray that you'll bless our county, bless our government, pray that you'll bless our country. We thank you, Lord, for all your blessings and your mercy.
Thank you, Wayne. Salute. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we call the roll tonight, our microphones, they will pick up, but they will enunciate. So that is how the radio station gets their voice, and that's how our video does. So when we talk tonight, be sure you talk through your microphone, even though it won't be a sound in here. Call the roll, please.
Jerry Bell.
Here.
Morris Barr.
Here.
Carl D. Bolden.
Here.
Carl E. Bolden.
Here.
Teddy Boyd.
Here.
Carly Brown.
Here.
Wayne Copeland.
Here.
Randy England.
Here.
Ron Lee.
Here.
Gary Martin.
Here.
Ken Martin.
Here.
Michael Martin.
Here.
Carol Miller.
Here.
Charles Morgan.
Here.
Gary Prater.
Here.
David Ray.
Here.
Kenny Roberts.
Here.
Scott Woodley.
Here.
Bobby Savage.
Here.
Tyrone Sparkman.
Here.
Diane Stark.
Here.
Philip Stout.
Here.
Lane Wiltshire.
Here.
Michael Shane Wiltshire.
Here.
24 present. Adoption of the docket, I would entertain a motion to approve the docket. Motion by Commissioner Bond, second. By Commissioner Teddy Boyd. Anybody want to speak to the motion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed likewise. Motion passes. I'm sure everybody received their minutes. Are there any additions or corrections?
Move to adopt and dispense with reading.
Got a motion to adopt and dispense with reading of the minutes. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Gary Martin. Anybody want to speak to the motion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed likewise. Motion passes. We do not have a public comment tonight. We will move on to our elected officials department reports, and first on the list is Finance, Ms. Linda Hillis.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You should have a copy of the Finance Department's report. If there are any questions, I'll try to answer them at this time.
Move to adopt.
Motion by Commissioner Terry Bell to adopt. Second by
Second.
Commissioner Carl E. Bolden. Anybody want to speak to the motion? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed likewise. Motion passes. Agriculture, Ms. Hilda Lytle, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ladies and gentlemen of the commission, you should have a copy of my report. If you have any questions, I'll try to answer those at this time.
Move to
Motion to
adopt.
approve. Motion by Commissioner Ron Lee, second by Commissioner Tyrone Sparkman. Anybody want to speak to the motion? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed likewise. Motion passes. Thank you, Hilda. Airport, Richard Crawford.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, County Commissioners. You have a copy of my report. I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have at this time.
Motion to approve. Motion by Commissioner England, second by Commissioner Boyd. Anybody want to speak to the motion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, likewise. Motion passes. Thank you, Richard.
Thank you, sir.
Codes and Environmental, Richard Thompson.
Good evening, Administrator Wells, member of the County Commission. You have a copy of my report. Is there any questions that I can answer?
Motion to approve. Motion by Commissioner Carl E. Bolden, second by Commissioner Bond. Anybody want to speak to the motion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, likewise. Motion passes. Thank you, Richard.
Thank you.
EMA, Jim Cunningham.
Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, you have my report. If you have any questions, I'll try to answer for you.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Boyd, second by Commissioner Sparkman. Anybody want to speak to the motion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, likewise. Motion passes. Thank you, Jim. EMS, Mr. Preston Denny.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ladies and gentlemen of the court, you have a copy of my report. Any questions?
Motion to approve. Motion by Commissioner Boyd, second by Commissioner England. Anybody want to speak to the motion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, likewise. Motion passes. Thank you, Preston.
Thank you.
Industrial Development Board, Mr. Don Alexander.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. I'm pleased to appear before this commission and answer any questions that you might have.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Bond, second by Commissioner Carleen Brown. Anybody want to speak to the motion?
I do.
Okay.
I'd like to ask Mr. Alexander a question. Can you share exactly what happened at the first Hotel Exploratory Committee meeting and what the next steps would be with that?
Be happy to. This meeting was basically we had a large sampling of the businesses in this area to find out from them how many visitors that they had that stayed in an adjoining county, primarily to Coffee and Putnam County. This sampling, I would guess to be maybe possibly a third of the businesses that we have in the area, and it showed that there were over 800 rooms that we basically lost or leaked to the other counties, showing that there is that strong need for a hotel based on the current visitation that we have from the business standpoint. The additional rooms and so forth that we might have from Bluegrass, the Park Theater, the Convention Center, the Civic Center, and other venues that we might have would be in addition to and over and above. The thought being to show that we have the need for a hotel here. Basically, the entities that are looking at us as possible hotels are evaluating that data now. It is one thing to say that we need a hotel. It is very much another to say, I want to write a check for the amount of dollars that it would take to invest and put that into it with the intent to have at least an 80% occupancy rate after the hotel is built. So that's the big thing, is when you get down to seeing the investment, it's a big step. Did I answer your question, Carleen?
Okay. You said they're now evaluating. Is there a meeting scheduled to follow up?
Not at this point. No, we have been in communication, but we haven't established any meeting at this point. Possibly will be later on.
Anybody else got a question? Anybody else want to speak to the motion? Motion to approve. Okay. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, likewise. Motion passes. Thank you, Don. Committee reports. First on the list, Budget and Finance, Commissioner Bell.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. All I've got to remind the chairman that they need to go to having meetings on their budgets as soon as they can. Thank you.
Buildings and Grounds, Commissioner Carl E. Bolden.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Building and Grounds has nothing to report at this time. Thank you.
Economic and Agricultural Development, Commissioner Lee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Economic and Agricultural Development have nothing to report at this time.
Thank you. Education, Commissioner Starkey.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. All the commissioners should have a packet that looks like this from our Director of Schools, Mr. Bobby Cox. And this is just a proposed package of school projects and renovation projects. We have visited 3 schools and still going to visit one more, which is East Side. And the needs are in this packet, and it's just estimates at this point.
Thank you. Financial Management, Ms. Hillis.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On your desk, you should find the cover sheet of the annual financial report for the county for 15-16. Down at the bottom, it shows the website that can be accessed to look at that report. The report is almost 200 pages long, so anybody that wants a copy will be more than happy to make a copy for you, but if you want to access it on the website, that website's at the bottom of that first page.
Thank you, Ms. Hillis. Health and Welfare, Commissioner Michael Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Health and Welfare have nothing to report at this time.
Thank you. Highway and Bridge, Commissioner Prater.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have nothing to report to tonight.
Thank you. Policy and Personnel, Commissioner Ken Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Policy and Personnel has nothing to report tonight.
Thank you. Safety, Commissioner Boyd.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The only thing the Safety Committee has is we need to start getting the department budgets in so we can start looking them over.
Thank you. We go into our special committee reports, and first on the list tonight is our Audit Committee Chairman, Mr. Wayne Cantrell. He has been the chair of our Audit Committee for the last 2 or 3 years, and I think this year winds him up. So, Wayne, thank you for your service. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Audit Committee met and looked at the report that the state had presented, and the Warren County financial statements was issued an unmodified opinion, which is congratulatory, as well as no findings were reported. So we congratulate all the committees and the departments for their good, clean report.
Thank you. County Corrections Partnership Committee, Commissioner Morris Bond.
Mr. Chairman, at this time, County Corrections Partnership Committee has nothing to report.
Thank you, sir. Redistricting, Commissioner Michael Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This committee have nothing to report at this time.
Thank you, sir. No old business. We'll move into our new business. First, item 1 is Commissioner Terry Bell.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is resolution number 6-2017, a resolution to rescind Section 2 of Resolution number 3-2016, adopted on September the 19th, 2016, for the purpose of removing the right of revert clause regarding land conveyed to Motlow State Community College for use as an advanced robotics center. The Warren County Commission adopted resolution number 30-2016 on September the 19th of 2016, through which 4.35 acres of county-owned land was conveyed to Motlow State Community College contingent on Motlow's receipt of a grant to fund construction of an advanced robotics center. The 4.35 acres are located adjacent to the local Motlow campus. Because the grant was still in application process, a right of revert clause was added to ensure that the land would be titled back to the county in the event that the grant was not received. The desire of the county was to ensure that the land was utilized for educational purposes. Since the resolution was adopted, Motlow received the $500,000 grant, and the Advanced Robotics Center will become a reality. In order for the deed to be appropriately drafted and executed, the right of revert clause is no longer necessary. Buildings and Grounds and Budget and Finance both met on these and approved them, and I so move.
Okay, thank you for that explanation of that to everybody, Commissioner. Have a motion, is there a second? Commissioner by Scott Rubley. Anybody want to speak to the motion? Call a roll, please, Lisa.
Yes.
Yes.
Carl D. Bolden,
Yes.
Carl E. Bolden,
Yes.
Teddy Boyd,
Yes.
Charlene Brown. Yes. Wayne Copeland.
Yes.
Randy England.
Yes.
Carl Lee.
Yes.
Gary Martin.
Yes.
Ken Martin.
Yes.
Michael Martin.
Yes.
Carolyn Miller.
Yes.
Charles Morgan.
Yes.
Gary Prater.
Yes.
David Gray.
Yes.
Kenny Roberts.
Yes.
Scott Ruble.
Yes.
Tommy Savage.
Yes.
Tyrone Sparkman.
Yes.
Diane Starkey.
Yes.
Philip Stout.
Yes.
Lane Wiltshire.
Yes.
Michael Shane Wiltshire.
Yes.
Anyone want to change the vote?
Motion passes 24-0. Item 2, Commissioner Ken Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a reappointment of judicial commissioners. Policy and Personnel Committee met on March the 7th to consider reappointment of 8 current judicial commissioners. The committee voted unanimously to recommend reappointment of the following judicial commissioners to a 1-year term to expire March 2018. Each of you have a list of those commissioners, and most of them, I think, are here tonight. I so move.
I have a motion as a second. Second by Commissioner Tommy Savage. Anybody want to speak to the motion? Call the roll, please, Lisa.
Terry Bell.
Yes.
Morris Pond.
Yes.
Carl Eagle.
Yes.
Carl Eagle.
Yes.
Teddy Boyd.
Yes.
Arlene Brown. Yes. Wayne Copeland.
Yes.
Randy England.
Yes.
Carl Lee.
Yes.
Gary Martin.
Yes.
Ken Martin.
Yes.
Michael Martin.
Yes.
Carolyn Miller.
Yes.
Charles Morgan.
Yes.
Gary Prater.
Yes.
David Gray.
Yes.
Kenny Roberts.
Yes.
Scott Ruble.
Yes.
Tommy Savage.
Yes.
Tyrone Sparkman.
Yes.
Diane Starkey.
Yes.
Philip Stout.
Yes.
Lane Wiltshire.
Yes.
Michael Shane Wiltshire.
Yes.
Anyone want to change your vote?
Motion passes 24-0. If all you judicial commissioners will hang around and come up front after the meeting's over, we'll get you sworn in. Item 3, County Clerk, Ms. Lisa Scott.
This is the list for the notaries. Angela Emberton, Faye Braxton, Terry L. Davis, Linda A. Flynn, Jennifer McBride, Tommy E. Myers, Don Stubblefield, Matthew R. Whaley, Jackie Elliott, Stephanie Keith, Yvonne Roberts, Jana Wilson Ringman, Tanya L. Ratliff, Kimberly Brady, Deidre E. Newby, Joe Harold Pugh, and Barbara Wilson.
Move to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Bond, second by Commissioner Blaine Wiltshire. Anybody want to speak to the motion? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed likewise. Motion passes. Anybody have any announcements? Okay, well, on your desk tonight I have a couple of announcements. You have a copy of the letter from our county attorney's office regarding the drug testing that Commissioner Shane Wiltshire wanted. You have information from Commissioner Michael Wiltshire, Shane Wiltshire, that he wanted all of you to have. You've already got your packet that Commissioner Starkey talked about, and then the one on the county audit that Linda talked about. So I would hit Blaine, and okay, yeah, I'm sorry. You have the one that Commissioner Blaine Wiltshire wanted you to look at. Anybody got any other announcements? Motion to adjourn. Motion by Commissioner England, second by Commissioner Gary Martin. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed likewise. Motion passes.
Programming on WCS-TV is made possible in part by a donation from Security Federal Savings Bank, serving its customers with 3 convenient Warren County locations.
Programming on WCS-TV is brought to you in part by a donation from Bridgestone. Bridgestone, your journey, our passion.
When you talk about education.
When you talk about education.
When you are talking about education, you are talking about me.
You are talking about me.
you are talking about me.
When you talk about public education,
you are not talking about a faceless institution.
I am the face of education. I am the face of education.
I may not understand educational budgets
or the politics behind decisions,
but the result will shape my education.
It will allow me to follow my dreams.
It will allow me to follow my dreams.
We are not finished.
We are not finished.
We are not finished. I may not understand everything that's going on,
or the conversations that are taking place,
but I'm working hard.
But I am working hard.
But I am working hard.
I am succeeding.
I am growing.
I am learning.
Because of you, I can make a difference.
Because of you, I can make a difference.
But you can't let me fall behind.
You can't let me fail.
You can't let me fail. You can't let me fail.
I need your help to succeed.
Will you stand up for me?
Will you stand up for me?
Will you stand up for me?
We should advocate for public education because our students need our voices. They need us to stand for what's right. They need us to stand for them. We want our children to be prepared for their futures. And so in order for them to do that, it's our job to be able to stand there and advocate for them.
Back years ago, we talked about every student having an individualized education plan. You see that in action now. We're not teaching to the middle anymore. We're working individually with students to make sure that every student has the best opportunity to succeed.
We've increased our technology tremendously over the past 3 to 4 years. Our kids are writing more, they're talking more, they're debating more in the classroom. So when we look at our district, when we look at our state, our students are performing better than they were before the changes were implemented. And the track that we're going on now with our education reform, we are starting to see a major difference in the way kids were 4 to 5 years ago versus now.
I see students justifying their thinking and critiquing the reasoning of others. And this is all because we've moved to higher standards. It's not just that we're going through a checklist of things that they've got to study, but students are learning content that's relevant to their everyday lives, and they're really thinking about content in new ways. Every time I leave the state, people are talking about what's happening in Tennessee. People all over the country are watching us. I love that principals and administrators are in classrooms all the time, and they are really focused on being instructional leaders instead of just building managers. The changes that we have made in education so far are really showing up in student achievement. As long as we are seeing growth in students, then we should definitely stay on track with reforms.
You know, all the reforms together, collectively, has helped move us in the direction that we want to go. And we've done it in our county with very limited resources. You know, a student doesn't have another chance at the 3rd or the 4th grade. We see the reforms are working. We just have to continue to stay the course and keep improving upon the good work that we're already doing.
Having a strong public education system really defines how successful that community is. I think we need to continue to focus on our role within public education directly within the classroom and down to each student.
As board members, it's our responsibility to advocate for our students so that they have the best educational opportunities afforded to them in public schools.
Everyone within a community should stand up for public education because that's really the backbone of America.
Stand up for public schools because our students need our voices. They need us to stand for improvements in student achievement. They need us to stand for them.
I have dreams for the future. I have dreams for the future.
These dreams require education. They require an education that won't fail me.
The stakes are high.
From teachers
to administrators to school board members
to the community.
We all have a role to play.
So don't leave me behind when I'm almost there.
Stand up for public schools.
Stand up for public schools.
And let your voice be heard.
Stand up for me. Stand up for me.
Stand up for me.
Stand up for me.
Stand up for me. Stand up for me.
I can't even tell you how often that people say, well, you don't look like a farmer. Nobody's ever accused me of being anything but prim and proper. Nobody's ever accused me of being an athlete, you know, anything like that. I'm from Franklin, Tennessee, born in Nashville, but raised in Franklin. Was not raised on a farm. I do not have a farming background. I was raised in a neighborhood. Got into farming by marriage. When my husband and I first got married, we both had jobs, but we grew about an acre garden just for us and our family, and that made us the most happy. So I kind of made it my mission to figure out a way that we could do it full time. So we quit our jobs and sold our car for seeds and became farmers. Like me, this is our greenhouse. This is where we start every single one of our seeds. It was hard. It was really hard. You can't just decide to feed 100 families this year. We had to kind of prepare for that. So it started the first year with us just growing food for, like I said, our friends and our family. Well, this thing, it's covered in mud, but it pokes a hole in the ground, and you sit here and it fills that hole up with water, and then you put the plant in the fresh little water. Our CSA is really cool. It's a little bit different from most of the CSAs that are out there. We call it our farmly. All of our pickups are on the farm. We don't do deliveries. It's kind of like a buffet line, and you fill up your basket with whatever you want for the week. I do feel like women farmers are in the minority, but I just think all farmers are in the minority these days. I feel like we definitely need more farmers all the way around. In our area, we have a really neat gathering of women farmers, and I really love going to that and getting inspired. It's interesting being a mama and a farmer because it's hard for people, I think, to put me in a box because sometimes I'm a full-time working mom and sometimes I'm a part-time working mom. One of the biggest things about me and most women farmers that I know is you can't box us in. And if you tell me, well, you don't look like a farmer, well, just come out to the farm and watch me work because I can outwork anybody.
I always looked at reading as if I was building a house, you would never start the house with the roof. You would start with the foundation. And the same thing with education, you start with the foundation. And I think reading is definitely that. Hi, I'm Justin Tuck, defensive end for the Oakland Raiders, founder of Tuck Structural Literacy. You can read anywhere. As a kid, I wish I would have had the opportunity to read in barbershops or on an airplane. I used to read in the back of a car because we used to go on long road trips. My mom always talked to us about if you wanted to go somewhere, you could always do it in a book. I was in Paris, in space. I was running through the woods, chasing wolves. You can definitely do that in a book. We are our brother's keeper in every sense of the word, but in this sense, especially paving the way for a great educational background. If I had a wish, I would wish that everybody that sees this just goes out and tells somebody else or try to be a positive influence to somebody else, and hopefully that gets the ball rolling. It's the snowball effect. That ball is going to start at the top of that hill very small, but if we continue to push it forward, man, it's going to become an avalanche after a while. And hopefully this whole reading epidemic is something that we're no longer talking about in 5 to 10 years.
Programming on WCS-TV is made possible in part by a donation from Security Federal Savings Bank, serving its customers with 3 convenient Warren County locations.
Programming on WCS-TV Channel 180 is made possible in part through donations from your McMinnville State Farm agents Lee Holland, Norm Barnes, Neil Helton, and Bill Zeckman.
Programming on WCS-TV is brought to you in part by a donation from Robert Oliver Bratcher of the Stanley & Bratcher Law Firm, located at 100 West Main Street in McMinnville, Tennessee.